right? So Mandami says, "Oh, we're gonna give free bus rides, but this, that, like Trump, Rashawn, you gotta admit that a lot of the immigration, which is what we're talking about tonight, a lot of the immigration issues are no different than when Biden was in power, Obama was in power. The same shit happened, right?
Well, I think
But,
that people
but,
got
but,
deported under. Go ahead.
but, because it's Trump, even though the same stuff is happening, because it's Trump, it's a bigger deal.
Well, I think it's
When was
how
the
it's
National
happening.
Guard?
You
When
know
did
what I mean?
Obama and Clinton and Bush, when did they put the National Guard on the street to arrest our own citizens? I don't remember that.
Yeah,
And then
it's
So the National
significantly
Guard isn't on the
escalated.
street to arrest citizens. The National Guard is on the street to protect our federal officers. That's the difference. They are
right, but
not there to
From
make
who?
arrests.
Who are they protecting the federal officers from?
Like that's a show of that's a show of intimidation, in my opinion.
This is actually when you guys were supposed to go all 2A and fight the government, but
Right.
yes,
Like this is
That's
this is
what
when
the-
the don't
that's what
tread
the
on
Second
me's
Amendment was
are
all
supposed
for.
to go get them.
this is, you guys are supposed to be mad that the military is invading our cities. This is the thing that, like, the further right has been hollering about happening for a long time. Is just like armed federal agents like invading cities. But now that it's happening to immigrants, you guys are like, fuck yeah, great, let's do this.
No.
I,
Yes.
Well, the National Guard's in D.C. to help make that city safe, and it has. I'm in D.C. all the
Let
time.
me tell you
and
something.
I'm happy
me
to see
tell you.
them there. And Obama did it. Bushes did it.
All right, but
Multiple
again, we don't like
presidents
Obama.
Biden
We've
did it.
established there's
Because it's
14
illegal.
deaths
That's
together.
probably why they didn't do it.
Who didn't do it?
Obama and whoever else.
Obama did it.
They
Where
all
did
did it.
he
the
put the
National
National Guard at? Where?
For immigration enforcement.
Atlanta,
I thought we were just talking about
LA,
bringing immigration to cities.
Atlanta.
Yeah, we're not talking about
LA.
ICE officers. We're talking about National Guard.
No, National Guard.
Where?
Obama.
Obama did that?
Atlanta,
Where?
LA.
He did. Hold
and
on, I'll tell you.
LA. And
He used National Guard for
2023,
border security. It's
National
called
Guard
Operation
was
Phalanx and
deployed.
disaster response, which is normal.
All right, but we're doing the But Obama. We're rewinding.
I mean,
We
I mean,
always do, bro. We always
it's fine if she actually has a place where he did it. He didn't, but I wanted to show that he did.
And I did.
My point when you do that,
Where?
though, like if the
He
other
did it on the
person did
border.
it and it's
He
wrong
deployed
too,
the
that
National
doesn't
Guard on the
make
U.S.
a
border
point.
for immigration
You
enforcement.
you equated Washington D.C. with the
I'm
border of Mexico.
talking about-
Yeah,
Like-
it's a little different.
It's for
You
safety.
again, if you're going to give an example that's relevant to the situation.
so
So the
so
National Guard being
I think-
deployed to protect
The border is a foreign
law
country.
enforcement.
It's not against our own civilians.
The border,
bro.
is
It's not
the
a
United
foreign
States.
fucking.
It's not a
The
foreign.
border
country.
between Mexico. Are you talking the border of Mexico? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the border in Texas and Arizona and California.
So Mexico, right?
No, Texas is not Mexico.
The United
Where are they
States
on the border of?
the United
Where on the border of?
You-
and Mexico.
Our
So
side
the-
of the border?
No, you're trying to. I'm not. saying
I'm not
anything.
trying to do anything. I'm telling you that
Okay.
what he did is he sent troops to the border to against
The
Mexico.
border in the United States.
I didn't say he invaded a country. I said that he was on the border of fucking Mexico.
Oh my God!
B,
Jen,
B,
shut the
you
fuck
got to
up.
reel it in, brother. You got to reel it in. Hey, Jen,
Really?
are you saying Obama? And I'm asking, Are
Yeah.
you saying Obama sent our troops to the border, obviously on our side, because they are
Yes.
our troops?
Yes.
Those borders meaning those states you mentioned and
Yeah.
the border between our states and Mexico.
Correct.
He wasn't trying to stop Arizona people from going into New Mexico.
Right.
Right. We think that's very different than taking troops from Texas and sending them to Washington, D.C.,
Portland,
because
LA.
that's there should
Charleston.
be
To help the Metro Police enforce immigration
But they're
and clean
helping.
up crime. You think
The
that's
Metro
wrong?
Police aren't supposed to enforce immigration in a lot of places.
They're
But
supposed to cooperate with the federal
no,
government.
No.
See, once I
In fact-
painted the picture, now the target's moving a little bit.
Supremacy
But it's
law
cool.
does not
I
exist
got it.
for you. So
What'd you say, Mark?
Say that
don't
again, Mark.
believe in the supremacy law.
Say
What'd
that
you say,
again, Mark.
You gotta talk without a cigarette in your mouth, brother. Huh?
Supremacy
Take the
law
cigarette out,
doesn't
bro.
exist.
Take the cigarette out your mouth. What?
Supremacy law doesn't exist according to you.
Supremacy law. You talk about
The
the
federal government has supremacy over the states.
no.
So states' rights is no longer a thing?
That's according to you
No.
guys.
No. Under the law, under the Constitution of the United States, federal law supersedes state law.
In what instances? Because again, no, the states have rights. So you
The
have to give me
states
a
do.
specific. You're going to have to cite something very specific to show us
The
the
states
federal
do have
government very
rights.
definitively has supremacy over the states in a case like
But
this.
the states do not control immigration.
Yeah.
The
They
federal
control
government
immigration
control-
enforcement.
No, they
so
don't.
I think
Yes, they do. They
So-
have their own courts. They have their own police departments.
I think
they
I-
have,
The
No,
supremacy clause, yes, but the
Immigration-
I think
supremacy
he's talking about
federal.
the supremacy clause, right?
He's
Mark,
talking
you're talking about
about
the
the
supremacy
supremacy
clause,
clause.
right? In
Yes.
this Constitution. So in a way, I get what Mark's saying. He is kind of right because when
He is
the
right.
states whatever they want to do conflicts with the federal law supersedes it. The supremacy clause.
Federal law.
Right, but here the supremacy clause
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
really make sense because we're not saying that ICE agents aren't
No,
able
no,
to go
you
to
don't
those
get
states.
to choose what makes sense. The
What?
law is the law.
There is, all right, let me explain something.
Wait a minute. Wait.
What?
If the law is the law, how come when we were talking about killing innocent people, you was cool with it?
What
But-
innocent people are we killing?
Go ahead, you continue, man. Go ahead. We good. I see the principles. They're picky and choosy.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing with the supremacy clause
you
means.
said,
Go ahead, Mark.
you said we're killing innocent people. What innocent people are we killing?
They're talking about the drug dealers.
I'm just saying
Alleged
the
drug
principle,
dealers.
the
They're dead, we
principle
don't know.
of America.
Yes, because all
Is
fishing
ignored.
boats have big blue barrels on them.
Right. So it's ignored but now the law is the law. But then we don't give people due process in foreign nations and international
Who's
waters
not
because that's
getting
all
due
wide
process?
open.
we don't
Who's
want to give.
not getting due
We don't want to
process?
give migrants due process in our own borders. Which is
Exactly.
another part of this argument is that they have argued that if you are a non-citizen, you don't get due process, even though you're in our
What
borders,
due
which
process
is
was
just
denied?
Nazi stuff. But
What
Yeah.
what Jim? What due process was denied?
immigration hearings are due process. Detainment is due process. All of it. If you snatch someone off the street and throw them in a van and then drive them to Mexico without an
If
immigration
they
hearing,
already
they
have
didn't
a
get due
removal
process.
order, they have had their due process. So
No,
But most of them don't have
but-
removal
Snatch
orders.
up
That's
all-
the thing,
They
Jen. Is that the vast majority of them are literally it's dragnet,
Prove
which
it.
means there
Prove
is
it.
no removal
Prove it.
order.
They
They
are
are
bringing them-
they are simply
But they're here
targeting people by
illegally.
race.
they've already
They're
broken
bringing
the
them
law.
to their
No,
feet and
if they're here
revoking their
illegally, it's a
legal status.
misdemeanor.
And
First
what
of
they're
all.
also doing is when these immigrants go into court for their hearings, the judge will just dismiss the case. And then once the judge dismisses the case, they get snatched up by ICE. and that's just wrong. That's not due process there. You know what I mean? That's another example of where due process is not being recognized.
Right.
what,
And if you're
Rashawn,
blanket revoking immigration status from a population, you can't tell me those people are getting due process.
Correct.
Yeah, but what you guys have to understand, there's this gray area there. They're not entitled to what you guys are considering due process, like a lawyer and all that stuff there, because it's a civil matter. It's not a criminal matter.
No. There's Supreme Court cases against us
Right.
that says that they actually are afforded the Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights. That's a Supreme
I
Court
looked it up.
ruling
It
back in
said
1882.
Immigration is civil law, not criminal. No attorney is required.
But
They're
they
not-
still.
You don't
No,
need
no,
an
no.
attorney.
You don't need an attorney. We're not talking about needing an attorney. We're talking about
talking
the
about
Fifth
trial.
and Sixth Amendment rights, which means that they have the right to basically say to their accusers, "Hey, I am not an illegal immigrant," or "This is the process that I was following. I was actually in the process of becoming legal in
Okay,
1882."
so
This is
listen to me. Okay, before
after
you go
the.
to history, before your history lesson me, if you're an immigrant, okay, how do you know about the Fifth Amendment, the Sixth Amendment, or nothing without a lawyer?
It don't matter. The people who are arresting
you saying
them should
all
know
immigrants
that
are dumb?
and offer it. Like that's their job. Like
You got to be dumb because you don't know nothing about the Fifth or Sixth or whatever.
No,
amendment.
no. What I'm saying is that you're saying is that the only way an
They
immigrant
could be
would know
ignorant
their
to the law.
rights.
Like 90% of America, they could be ignorant to the law.
Immigrants. A lot of immigrants are much smarter than the average American, but that's a completely different conversation. But the point is,
well, that's because the fucking immigrant
the point
attorneys
point
are
here is that the
telling them
Supreme
how
Court.
to scam the system.
Hold on, Mark. I was saying so. The whole point is that the Supreme Court ruled that no matter your status, your immigration status, whether you're a citizen, whether or not, you are afforded your Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights. That's law. This Supreme Court has not overturned that. And so what this administration is doing is denying them their Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights, as the Supreme Court
That's
said.
not true.
That is
Show it to me
absolutely
where
100%
it's
true. That's a
denied.
fact. It's not an opinion.
Show
It's
it
a fact.
tonight. Show it tonight.
What?
When they have a final order of deportation, they have no more right.
Why?
They can appeal.
Because they've had their day in court.
No. If you just bring somebody to court and dismiss their case and then revoke their legal status and arrest them outside the courtroom, they didn't have their day in court.
Right.
And
That's what we're saying.
Yeah, they did.
No.
No, they
No.
did. You just dismissed their case. You didn't rule on the case. You dismissed it. You know what I mean? There was no ruling. So because they can't rule on it, to get around that, they dismissed the case. You just dismiss it. There was no ruling. There was
Because
nothing
they
saying like,
had no case to start with.
no,
That's why it was dismissed.
how?
They did, or else they wouldn't
How?
have dismissed one.
Right.
On top of this issue, they are deporting people that don't have any final order. That's another issue on top of this. So if you're arguing that, they had a final order, that is not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, well, at least I'm not. There are hundreds of thousands of immigrants that are in detention centers that are in the process of being deported that aren't getting any of those rights because they have no final order at all. They don't have any process. There's a judge that just ruled that says immigrants must be able to attend their bond hearings. What's happening right now is ICE is preventing immigrants from going to their bond hearing. That's illegal. That's breaking constitutional law that's been there since 1882, 1896. We can go back however far you want. That's the problem that I have. I may not like all of the deportation laws, but if you follow the laws, I can't complain. The problem is they're not following the law. And on top of not just following the law, they're being brutal about it. There's a way to enforce a law where you don't have to be a fucking dick. When Obama and Biden did it, even when I complained about it, they didn't go after the people that were here for 20 years. They went after the people here that were here for 3 years or 4 years or 5 years. Not for the people that were here for 20 or 30 years that had started businesses and have kids in college. That's fucking bullshit. There's a difference between enforcing immigration law humanely and enforcing immigration law where you just are cruel and unusual and treat everyone like animals.
And they celebrate the
Why
cruelty
the
with
fuck
Twitter ASMR.
have you been here for 20 years and haven't started immigration?
They started, but they haven't completed because it's impossible.
Does it
Mark, how many people do you know that actually have applied for immigration?
actually
The
work
amount
with
you
them.
did
Tell me,
to
no, I
John
want to
last
know
week.
because I know the answer is zero. Because
I
if
didn't
you
know.
actually know
That's
people that
not the
applied here
case.
for immigration, you would know that the average wait for a poor person, not a rich person,
10 years.
if you are poor, the average wait to become a citizen here is
10
20
years.
fucking years. It's 20 fucking
10
years.
years. 10 years.
You are, for a rich person, it's different because you can buy your way in. But if you're poor, and I know this, I know a lot of Indian immigrants. I know a lot of
I
Romanian
don't
immigrants. I know a
care
lot of
who you
Mexican
know.
immigrants. And I
don't
actually
know who you
filed
know.
for 3 of
I
them.
don't
So I
care.
know immigration law. And I don't care if you don't know, but I'll tell to everyone else that actually cares about the law. And the thing is that in this country, if you are poor, you cannot become a citizen until it takes 20 plus years. There's a joke in the immigration lawyer community, and it's that you will die before you get your immigration papers. It
Didn't
takes
Trump
that
offer
long.
people to pay for?
Look,
Didn't he
look,
offer them to pay
I'm
for
going to give
citizenship?
you some advice.
No, he offered to pay for the deportation, not to pay for citizenship.
Oh
No,
no,
I'm
you're
saying,
thinking of the
hold
white
on, hold on,
Give you
Afrikaners.
some
V. Hold on a
advice
Yeah.
second.
for
Didn't Trump
somebody
offer people to
deals
pay
with
to
it
become
You,
citizens?
all
you're
the
thinking
time.
of the white
Are you
Afrikaners.
talking about the
Is that
gold
right?
card?
Oh, you're talking, you're South
Yeah.
Afrikaners are different, bro. We're talking
I'll
about the
give
Is
you
that?
immigrants in
some
detention
advice.
centers.
But I'm asking, is that
Go
was
to
a thing, right? I
Canada,
didn't mishear
Yeah.
that. That
Oh
was
yeah,
it. Okay.
No,
become a
he came up with the gold
citizen,
card.
and
the
then
Okay, that's right.
the
transfer to the
Afrikaners
United
is fun
States.
because those
You'll
are the
get it in a
immigrants we
couple years.
wanted.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right, Jim. You know what I mean? But that further shows that this is all based on race. You know what I
Right.
mean? So, you got refugees from all over the world, but the only ones that you're going to let in are the white Afrikaners for a supposed genocide that really isn't happening
That's
over there.
It's not
bullshit,
even
Yeah.
happening.
Son. You know that.
No, I honestly, Mark, what's bullshit is what
Go
they're
to
doing.
South
they're-
Africa and tell me that
So-
it's not happening.
It's not happening.
It's not though.
Okay.
I
All right.
find you
That was
journalists that are
made
on the
up.
ground there. But
Right. And
Yeah, I
then-
actually
so-
know some people that are in South Africa.
Yeah, no, I know a couple people too. But the thing is that you got to think that you
Rashawn,
have a
Rashawn,
yes, sir.
You can't honestly tell me straight up that most of this isn't because of Trump. If it wasn't Trump, this whole political media sensation wouldn't be happening if it wasn't Trump.
I mean, they did go crazy when Obama wore a tan suit, so I don't know.
it's not like we
feel like
didn't
it
hear
goes
any
fair.
of this under George
Well,
Bush
I
around the
don't
9/11.
I don't
Yeah,
understand. I
exactly.
don't understand.
9/11.
I don't understand the premise of the question, Mark.
Are you saying
What?
Trump is without
This is
fault,
all
and
about
because it's
Trump.
him, we're making a big deal out of the things?
No,
Or are
I'm
you
not
saying that?
saying
He's
Trump
saying
is
it's being
without fault.
exacerbated because it's Trump.
Oh,
If it
okay.
was
It's
somebody else,
exacerbated
it
because it's
wouldn't
Trump
be.
because Trump is doing these things.
Well,
But if it was another president, it wouldn't
No.
be
Wait.
so.
what's
Uh,
being
the way he talks.
what's being exacerbated is what I'm trying to get.
Jen just answered that. She got it.
Immigration is being exacerbated.
No,
So-
just the rhetoric around it.
Hold on.
Between 2021
Wait,
and
Mark,
2023,
Mark, hold on one second. Hold on. The rhetoric around immigration in a negative light, I would have to attribute that to Trump. Would you not?
yeah, absolutely.
Right.
I totally agree.
Right.
I think
Well,
the
he's not understanding
the
your
rhetoric is because it's Trump.
Yeah.
Because between 2021 and 2023, the detentions doubled under Biden.
Mhm.
So
So-
I think. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So it's not about people being detained. It's not about how it's happening. It's because it's Trump.
So I disagree. I do think it's about how it's happening. I think that's the main thing here. It's about how it's happening. That's the big difference here. You know what I mean? Back when Biden was in Obama were in power, you didn't have ICE roaming the streets. You didn't have this militarization all
That's
over the
not
cities and
true.
everything like that.
That's
No, you
not
really
true.
didn't though. There was no ICE. ICE just recently got, but the budget is larger than like most
Um,
countries' whole military budget. You know
we
what I
are not,
mean?
ICE has a budget of the 11th largest military organization in the world.
So what's happening here is Trump is ramping up this ICE into like his own little army, and they're going into cities right now, and they're taking people and they're snatching them up off the streets. You didn't have that with Obama and Biden. You didn't have that. You didn't have where immigrants would go
You
into court
absolutely
and
did. You
no,
absolutely did.
when was ICE on the streets like that? When did we have people getting snatched off the streets like that, Mark? ICE back then was going after criminals and stuff like that, or people that were, had their stuff revoked. They weren't just snatching people up that had was just walking on the street. You know what I mean? That wasn't happening. You didn't have this large force out there.
In 2023, U.S. Customs and Enforcement enforcement removal doubled its immigration enforcement arrests under Title 42.
So I'm not understanding. Wait. You said in 2023, ICE did what now?
They doubled their enforcement because of Title 42.
The Title 42, wasn't that one of Trump's rules? The Title 42, because Biden never got rid of it, right? Am I remembering correctly? That was during the COVID era, correct? The Title 42 or no?
Public
Right.
health.
So during that time, you got to remember, Mark.
Whoa. We're talking Biden did this.
But you got to remember that during.
But you're saying that Trump is the problem, but Biden under Title 42 changed the rules.
Do you think that the Trump policy is an escalation of immigration and deportation? Do you think Trump is? Do you think that the Trump administration is significantly more vocal and significantly more visible about the way that they go about this?
Absolutely, Jim.
Okay.
I think.
Thank you.
I think.
And that answers
That was
your
my only
point.
question.
Yeah, hey, good job, Jim.
I think it is far more vocal, far more prevalent media-wise, but I don't think it is anymore.
Okay. Well,
So I got a quick question. So do you think that when Biden was president that the border was open?
Yes.
So but how could the border be open? But how could the border be open if you just said that under Title 42, ICE doubled their arrests?
So this is the problem we have. Biden, in his administration, allowed more. I think the term that was used was catch and release.
What was the first action of this new Trump administration for immigration policy? What was the first thing they did, like within an hour of them taking office?
Shut the border.
No. Can I answer this one? There was an app on your phone that was utilized for people at the border who had been waiting for immigration hearings. They immediately shut that app down. That is vetting. That was a vetting process. That was something that was meant to streamline the immigration process and vet people coming into the country. And they shut it down. So they don't want to vet people.
I can't remember what the name of it was Immigration One, something
I don't need the name of it. I just know what it did, and that it was meant to streamline a process of people coming over the border legally. In their first action was to shut that down.
No.
That's more than telling as far as what their policy is.
That's not what that application did.
Yes.
What it did was allow people to schedule an appointment
and have a hearing via the app.
years. No, let me
Yes,
finish.
you can finish, but I'm going to keep just saying yes or no when you're right or wrong.
Schedule an appointment. Couple years down the road,
Shouldn't take that long, but okay.
Land that plane, Mark. Land that plane. Come on, Mark.
but
Land that plane.
they weren't vetted. They just applied.
That's vetting. That's that is a piece of technology
No.
meant to vet. Help
Filing
the
an
vetting.
application
Wheels are down.
doesn't mean vetted.
Yeah, it's the
Nothing
start
makes
of that
it.
process. It's the literal start of the vetting process is
All
to
it
make
was
the
was for them
appointment.
to schedule an
Exactly.
appointment. That was
But
that
it's
was all it
the
was good
start.
for. And the
It
facial
provided
recognition
basic
stuff really didn't
information,
work.
and then you go to the next step of the process, right? So you get your name, you
But
get your
that
birthday, you get
doesn't
all these
allow
things,
you
get
in
your
the
education,
country.
blah 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 blah.
Well, our vetting system is flawed in the first place because
Yep.
you got to think about it.
Oh,
If you're having
totally
people
agree.
come, you have people come apply for asylum, and who are you going to vet them with? Who are you asking? The country they
Right.
just ran from?
And that was my point
That doesn't make any sense.
earlier, was that we don't have these international
Yeah, the rules aren't the same.
policing
Right.
What I would
that
also
we're
tell you,
able
the majority of people you can't vet aren't going to be these violent criminals that they're stigmatized as. The majority of people
That's
coming
true,
over
too.
here are desperate. Like, if you can't vet them, it's probably because they were living in a dirt floor and didn't have electricity. They're probably not a fentanyl dealer that wants to murder your children.
No, but we did manage to get a lot of murderers and people that were on the
So,
run from their countries that had escaped prisons and stuff.
Okay. Well,
Not as many as you would think. I mean,
yeah.
statistically, native born, and I'm not talking American Indians, I'm talking people that were actually born here in America, but not Native Americans. They have a much higher rate than both legal and illegal immigrants. A much higher rate of violence. So when we're talking about we have a poor vetting process, there is no way anywhere in the world, it's not just the United States, can properly vet every single one. The thing is, somebody could be completely vetted perfectly, but they have a change of opinion. Or they, they could have got radicalized, or they could have just gone insane. Anything can happen from the time that the vetting is done to when a violent act can happen.
Absolutely.
Just because a violent act happens doesn't mean the vetting process is poor either. So there will never be a non-zero number of people that we let in that won't commit some sort of thing that we're like, oh fuck. That's always going to happen.
I would also tell you it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy when they do cross the border and come here and try to integrate in society, and you deny them literally everything. Like, you can't have a credit card, you can't have a bank account, you can't have a license, you can't obtain food. If you deny a person bread, they're going to steal the bread. So
Right.
this is one of those things with like driver's licenses, is when they say like, yeah,
but that's
people.
why our country has laws that says you have to be able to provide for yourself, or somebody has to sponsor you
They want
to
to
provide
provide
for
for
you.
themselves, though. They want to. You
But
won't
but
let them.
I don't care if they want to. The law is they have to.
Not
But
for
if
asylum.
you
So
don't
just
let them,
FYI, that is not the law for asylum. For asylum, they actually don't have the same laws as someone that is filing for immigration and say it's an
Right,
H-1B,
and that's why
or
my state is $2 billion in debt.
that's not why
Because
your state is $2 billion in debt.
yes,
No,
because we
it's because of pension
supported
funds.
them,
It's because of pension funds. You have an underfunded pension system. That's the biggest problem.
bro. We spent $1 billion this year on asylum cases.
Sure you did.
Period.
Okay.
Sure you did.
Not pensions. Not
Okay.
nothing.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
sure you did.
That's cool. So
$1
like
billion.
we're gonna end it with this question I got for everybody. Seeing as how Donald Trump won the popular vote, and his main, his number one thing was immigration. Is this what's going on now? Is this what America wants? Is this what America needs? Because I mean, we vote. I gotta say this: we voted for this. So is this
Mhm.
is this what we want?
So I
Go ahead,
think
Sean.
that
You start it off.
I think
Actually, you go
that
last, Rashawn, because you're the soliloquy queen. No, I
nah,
mean
that's
King.
okay.
I'm sorry, King.
That's all,
We'll
that's all
You
good.
got
start
it
off
right
with
the first time.
yeah. We'll start off with you, Jesus. Come on, man. Is this what we need? I mean, is this what America wants? Is because we voted for him, and I say we because we as a country, and it's the first time he won the popular vote. So the majority of the country voted for him. He ran on an immigration ticket. So what do you think?
I mean, first off, I didn't vote for him, so
I mean, I know,
I didn't
I
vote
know.
for her
I
either.
mean,
So,
yeah, I mean,
but anyway,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like
I
if you
think
got to think, majority's riding with him. So
I think if I'm fair to Trumpers or just Americans in general, I think the idea of tightening our borders and fixing that process, people thought, yes, this will be cool. So I think people were probably like optimistic, like, all right, we're going to get this fixed up. And granted, they make it seem like they're sponging off of us way more than they are, considering all the wars we fund for other countries. But that's another topic for another day. I think the execution of what he's doing is clearly not what America wants. And I think 2026 is going to tell us more of that story. I think sometimes Biden was too far this way and swings back. Trump took it way back this way. Somebody's got to bring it somewhere in the middle so things could be digestible and we can get the progress that people actually want. So I would say, did people get what they want? Probably a little more than they bargained for. But can I give people the benefit of the doubt if they were going into it with a positive attitude? Sure, I could give them that. Albeit he wasn't getting my vote regardless. for another reason altogether.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, V.
Yeah, I say we just look at the polls, and you're right to say that America did want stronger immigration enforcement at the time when he was voted. We can look at the polls and show that there was a majority of Americans that wanted stronger border enforcement. But now the polls have shifted dramatically, because when people see on the videos and seeing those brutal enforcement of these laws, they're seeing their neighbors getting taken away, which they never thought was going to happen. They thought it was going to be criminals. They thought it was going to be, people here that were dealing drugs, not people that they saw selling tacos on the corner. Now that they realize that Trump isn't going after the criminals, the polls, the new Gallup polls, show literally 78% of Americans now favor a pathway to citizenship. And before this, it was only 67%. That's how much the swing has been from Trump's enforcement, where the vast majority of Americans actually now favor the government supporting a pathway to citizenship for undocumented immigrants. So you were right to say, yes, that people were upset with the way that Biden handled the border situation, but they're actually more pissed the way that Trump is handling it now. And he is now underwater on literally everything, whether it's the economy or immigration or anything. So on immigration, he's actually not doing what people want. The majority of Americans want.
Okay. Jen?
I think for the most part, yeah, we're getting what we voted for. Immigration, extremes beget extremes. So you had, like Jesus said, Biden was so far over here that we got the extreme on the other side. And there's got to be a correction at some point where it levels off. And I think everybody can agree on people that are productive citizens should have a pathway to citizenship. So I think it's just the people that are feeding off the system and are criminals, they shouldn't be here. And I think eventually it's going to get to that point. And also to the travel bans, the countries that have travel bans, we have to remember that the majority, 7, 8 of these countries were already on this list. They were all Muslim majority countries. And this goes back even before Obama. This is like but they were visa restricted. And all Trump did was expand on it. And I was going to say this earlier, but if you remember, everybody freaked out about the travel bans back in his first term, his first presidency. And it was the same thing. And Biden took it back. But it was pretty much, they were the same countries that Obama had already put in place. And again, just visa restrictions. He just expanded on it and made it a little bit harsher, made it harder for these people to come from these countries. And it's countries of concern. So that's.
And he basically called it a Muslim ban. That's
I don't think he called it that. I think the press called it that.
No, he literally called it a Muslim ban.
I don't remember him saying that. Well, they're Muslim. They are Muslim majority countries.
Like, I don't disagree
So
that we do that, Jim.
Maybe the wording sucks, but
right. That's what I was going to say. Like, every president, I think, does it in a way, like
right.
Like you were saying, they just don't come out and say all these Muslim countries. They just say, "Oh, we're going to have a ban this country, this country, this country," and they don't say it's because they're Muslim. It just is, but we don't say it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I mean, I guess you would say he's being transparent. Because he's just
you always know what you get with him because he comes out and says it.
I guess.
And
so, Mark,
you have that than Two Faces.
Mark. God damn it, Mark. All right. Is this what America wants, Mark? Let us know, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, the majority voted. The law is the law, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, under sponsorship law, like Form I-130, Form I-864, like, there are ways to do this legally. There are ways to do this that
land that plane, Mark. Land it, wheels down.
Iron hammer, right? And because of Biden, what's that superhero's name? With the big ass hammer?
Thor.
Like, Thor's hammer is coming down. Like, maybe not 100% of Americans agree with it, but it has to happen. Like, we can't just let people in. Like, Minnesota, like 250 billion, I don't remember, and I don't care.
Yeah, billion is a lot of people.
But
you ain't even got that many in the country.
A million billion.
But at this point, if people are defrauding the government, that's my money, that's your money, that's Rashawn's money, that's Jim's money. It's all our money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Americans today are saying we're $37 trillion in debt, and we need to cut our expenses. We need to keep things fiscally responsible.
Okay, so you think the immigrant? You think this is what America wants because the immigrants are costing us too much money?
No, I think that we need to make sure that the immigrants are being responsible. Like, under the rules, they should be able to provide for themselves or have a sponsor to provide for them.
Okay.
And
So you just basically want them to follow the rules.
exactly.
Okay. What do you think, Jim? You
Um,
know, we
do
on the right path? Is
Yeah,
this what
no,
America wants? Or
no, I wouldn't support any of this under any circumstances personally. But
right?
I think that a majority of Americans like voted for stronger borders and immigration policies? Sure. Do I think they voted for that like based on a lot of fallacies? Absolutely. And we kind of highlighted a couple of those with the fact that Biden and Obama actually deported a ton of people. But that aside, did they vote for these things in a respect? Yes. Did they vote for military occupation of our cities? I think that a lot of hardcore Trump supporters really did vote for that, but let's not pretend that the average voter is as connected as the people in this room to politics and what the kind of realities are. And let's not even try to pretend that the average voter voted mindfully for ICE agents and the feds and the National Guard and whoever else just like invading our cities and large scale riots that you're starting to see. So no, we're not on the right track. And no, I don't think this is what people voted for.
Okay. Rashawn, you was quiet tonight, man.
There's a lot of talking going on, man. I didn't
Yeah.
want to interrupt. I was trying to let people get their words in, and I'm
Okay.
not big at interrupting people. So,
Well,
yeah,
take us
this is
out.
my chance.
It's your chance right here. Is this what America wants? I mean, is this what America needs?
Absolutely not,
Because
man. I absolutely not, brother. Trump didn't run on this. You know what I mean? I think Trump ran on. I'm getting the criminals out. I'm getting the drug dealers out. I'm getting the bad out. And I think a lot of Americans fell for that. They were like, I mean, really, how can you say that's a bad thing? You know what I mean? But Trump didn't run on what's happening now. Now, I think that America's having a big wake up call because a lot of people already saw this, coming down the road, and right now what we're seeing isn't anything that I think that the majority of Americans would have gotten behind had it been put out there on the campaign trail to begin with. I think the big thing is that we need to stop. We call them undocumented immigrants. We call them illegal immigrants. We call them immigrants, but really they're people. They're moms, dads, fathers, their sons, daughters. They're people that just came here trying to make a better life for themselves. The majority of them, the overwhelming majority of them, came here to better their lives. And because what we have going on with the Trump administration and beforehand as well, they become demonized. You know what I mean? They're looked at as less than, and we have to stop doing that because these people aren't bad people, and they're net positive to this country, in my opinion. And so we need to realize that. Where's our humanity? And so I think that's one of the things that we're going to hopefully, because I'm an optimist, we're going to gain back through all this is some of our humanity. Because what's going on is absolutely cruel, and it's not the country that I'd ever stand up for in a million years. So no, I don't think Americans knew it was going to be this bad, and I think they're seeing that now. And we'll see, like Jesus said, 2026, I think you're going to see a big turnaround. I mean, you normally do anyway, but I think it's going to be larger than normal due to a lot of these policies. Kept it short. How was that, man?
it was pretty good, man. I didn't fall
All
asleep or anything. All right. Well, my opinion on it is this what America wants? I'm not sure. I really don't think the issue itself is political as much as it is economic. I think if we got into the economic structure of it, we could probably find a lot more answers. But when you put that type of rhetoric around it, and you got different people gaslighting it turns it, just like our conversations, it goes off the farm. You got to look at something like These detention centers, those are private institutions that are getting paid by the government money to house these people. So it's a whole economic system behind this too. When you look at immigration, period, when you pick up something in the store, does it just have directions on it in English? No. You know, it's going to definitely have Spanish in it, but you know, it might have 4 or 5 different. You know, that's just what we are as a world, not even as a country, but as a world. You know, we intermingle, and I don't know if you can basically put a plug on it all of a sudden, like say, all right, we're just gonna stop. I don't think that it's too much of a shock to this, you know, to the system if you do it like that. I think you have to come up with a standard operating procedure and gradually, you know, work that in, find something that works. I mean, we pay people to do all types of stuff, to invent all types of stuff. You trying to tell me we can't figure out immigration? It's that hard of a process where if you apply, it takes us 10 years to do paperwork and that. And are you serious? With all the computers, we can read Sumerian text. Like we can't, you know, come on, dude. It's 10 years for paperwork. We don't even, there is no paperwork, to be honest with you, anymore. Everything's done on computer. So, I mean, that just lets you know it's a process. And I think that process has to do with money more than anything else. Like we look at it from a political aspect, the government this, the government that. But I think what drives it more is economics. That's just my, you know, own personal opinion, because I think everything has to do with economics, you know, most of the time.
Well, money makes the world go round.
Yeah, it does. And like when you look, we had the man behind the mask is always sitting there counting. The man behind the mirror is always counting that money, you know, and that's you know.
That is what it's all about. I mean, look
So
at the H-1B visas.
yeah, I mean, but to answer my question of is this what America wants, I have to say, like I said, personally, I'm kind of unsure, but just looking at the factual, it's what we voted for. And Donald Trump never won the popular vote until this time. This one last time. He's been in 3 elections. He only won the popular vote once. That means the majority of the country voted for him. And his biggest thing was this immigration. That's what I'm going to take care of. And that's what I guess people are expecting. So, and I mean, he's not a guy to come in, you know, he's a bull in a china shop. He's not a guy to do anything like, you know, really lightweight. So, I mean, we got to expect it to be done this way. He wasn't going to do it diplomatically and real nice, like, hey guys, you know, hey, I got this policy, you know, it wasn't going to, it was never going to be like that. It was going to be like, get the F out or you can't come to F in, you know, that's him. So from that aspect, I mean, this is what America wants, I guess. Now, is it what America needs? That's a different question too, altogether. But that might be for another show. We're going to get out of here. Peace out.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.